Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, and welcome to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for reading of Torah on Rosh Hashanah morning. When first we appeared on the stage of world history, a book was in our hands. This book, this sacred scroll. And we were told, this is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart. And we were told, you can surely do it. And then we learned, this is where heaven and earth touch. We are people of the book. Through fire and mud and dust, we have borne our scrolls tenderly as a baby swaddled in a blanket, traveling with our words sewn in our clothes and carried on our backs. Let us take up the scroll of Torah and dance with it and touch it and read it. For the mind touches the word and makes it light. So does light enter us, and we shine.
The Torah readings chosen by our sages for Rosh Hashanah highlight central themes of the days of awe. These are, first of all, stories about moral choices. Individuals confronted with difficult decisions, competing loyalties, and conflicts of interest. Genesis 21, the traditional reading for the first day of Rosh Hashanah, centers on the troubled relationship of Sarah, Hagar, and Avraham. Genesis 22, the traditional reading for the second day, which we as a Reform congregation read on the first day, presents the story of Akedat Yitzchak, the binding of Isaac, in which God asks Abraham to offer his beloved son as a sacrifice on Mount Moriah. Rather than moral exemplars, the Torah presents us with flawed human beings wrestling with intense emotions, love and fear, anger and jealousy, fervent faith and profound self-doubt. Their struggles remind us of our own complex family dynamics and personal dilemmas. In this season of self-reflection, we are drawn into stories that demonstrate the challenges of discerning God's voice and choosing the right path. Both stories center on a dramatic moment in which the characters' eyes are opened to reveal a new direction for their lives. Hagar sees a well in the wilderness. Avraham sees a ram caught in a thicket. This change in perception, this instant of renewed vision, holds the promise that we too might discover new possibilities and resources for our lives as we contemplate this year ahead. Most of all, these are stories that affirm life. In Genesis 21, young Ishmael comes close to death. Isaac is imperiled in Genesis 22, and with him the future of the Jewish people. In the end, both sons of Abraham are saved. Both receive the divine promise that their line will endure, a message that recalls our own fervent prayers to be inscribed for life and renewed for a good year. For the honor of the Aliyah this Rosh Hashanah and Shabbat morning, I invite forward all of those students who were called to Torah as bar or bat mitzvah in the year 5780.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech HaTorah.
Amen.
Wow.
Bayom hashlishi, vayisa Avraham et einav, vayar et hamakom merachok, vayomer Avraham el na'arav, shvu lechem po im hachamor, va'ani va'ana'ar, nelchad ko, v'nishtachaveh v'nashuv alechem. Vayikach Avraham et atzei ha'olah, וישם על יצחק בנו, ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת, וילכו שניהם יחדיו. ויאמר יצחק אל אברהם אביו, ויאמר, אבי, ויאמר, הנני בני, ויאמר, הנה האש והעצים, ואיה הסה לעולה. ויאמר אברהם, אלוהים יראה לו הסה לעולה בני, וילכו שניהם יחדיו. ויבואו אל המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים, ויבן שם אברהם את המזבח, ויערוך את העצים, ויעקוד את יצחק בנו, וישם אותו על המזבח ממעל לעצים, וישלח אברהם את ידו, ויקח את המאכלת לשחוט את בנו, ויקרא אליו מלאך אדוני מן השמיים, ויאמר אברהם, אברהם! ויאמר, הנני. ויאמר, אל תשלח את ידך אל הנער, ואל תעש לו מאומה, כי אתה ידעתי, כי ירא אלוהים אתה, ולא חסכת את בנך, את יחידך ממני. ויעש אברהם את עיניו, והנה איל אחד נאחז בסבך בקרניו. וילך אברהם, ויקח את האיל, ויעלהו לעולל תחת בנו. ויקרא אברהם שם המקום ההוא אדוני יראה, אשר יאמר היום, בהר אדוני יראה.
Baruch atah Eloheinu haolam asher natan banu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan v'tofenu Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah.
Amen. To those of you who have honored us with the blessing of reciting the Torah blessings this morning, I offer this blessing for you. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the one who brought blessings to Abraham and Sarah, to Isaac and Rebekah, to Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessings to the Jewish Jelly Donuts, who rise today to honor God, Torah, this day of Shabbat, and this day of remembrance. May they be blessed with safety and protection in times of trouble. May they be blessed with comfort and healing in times of illness. May they be blessed with success and fulfillment in all their endeavors. May they be inscribed and sealed for a life of goodness. In gratitude for the leaders they have become in our congregation, and the leaders and teachers of Torah they will continue to be, we all say, Amen. We turn to the reading of our Haftarah from the book of Samuel, and I invite Team Goldstein to lead us in our reading.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nbi'im tovim v'ratzah v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah u'Moshe abdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nbi'ei ha'emet b'tzedek.
Vayomer la Elkanah isha hanach lamet tikli velame lo tochli velame yera levavech halo anochi toblach ma'asara ma'abi v'takam chana acharei achla bishelo ve'acharei sheto Ve'eli hakohen Yoshev al hakisei al mezuzah Chechal Adonai Vehi marat nafesh Vatitpalel al Adonai Uvachal tivken Vatito neder V'tomar Adonai tziva'ot Yimra'ot tirei Va'ani amatecha Yuzkartani tizcha Et amatecha V'natata lematcha Zera anashin Untati ladonai kol yemei Hayav Umara lo ya'ale al rosha'o
והיה כי הרתה להתפלל לפני אדוני, ואלי שומר את פיה, וחנה היא מדברת על ליבה, אך שפתיה נאות וקולה לא ישמע, ויחשביה אלי לשיכורה. ויאמר אליה אלי, עד מתי תשתחרין? הסירי את עינך מעלייך. וטען חנה ותאמר לו, אדוני, יישא כשת רוח אנוכי, יין ושכר לא שתיתי, ואשפוך את נפשי לפני אדוני, אל תיתן את אמתך לפני בת בליעל, כי מרוב שיחי, וכסי דיברתי עוד הנה. והיה אלי, ויאמר לכי לשלום, אלוהי ישראל ייתן את שאלתך אשר שאלת מעמו, ותאמר תמצא שפחתך חן בעיניך, ותלך האישה לדרכה ותאכל, ופניה לא היו לה עוד.
And Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you cry, and why do you not eat? And why are you disheartened? Am I not worth more to you than 10 sons? And Hannah rose after the eating and drinking at Shiloh, while Eli the priest sat upon the throne near the doorpost of the temple of the Eternal. And she, bitter to the core, prayed to the Eternal, weeping and crying. She vowed and said, Eternal of heaven's hosts, if you will truly see your servant's affliction and remember me, and not forget your servant, and give your servant a son, I will give him to the Eternal all the days of his life, and no razor shall be lifted to his head. And as her praying before the Eternal intensified, Eli watched her mouth, and Hannah, she was speaking only in her heart. Though her lips were moving, her voice could not be heard. So Eli thought she was drunk, and Eli said to her, How long will you persist in drunkenness? Put away your wine, get rid of it. And Hannah answered and said, No, my lord, a woman of sorrow am I. I drank neither wine nor spirits, but poured out my soul before the Eternal. Do not take your servant for a worthless woman. All this time I have spoken from the depth of my anger, from the greatness of my grievance. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant the request that you have made.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzor kol halamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, v'al ha'avodah, V'al Ve'im, V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh, V'al Yom HaZikaron Hazeh, Shenatata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, L'Kedusha V'Limnucha, L'Chavod U'Tifaret, Al HaKol, Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu Modim Lach, Umvarchim Otach, Yitbarak Shimcha Befi Kochai, Tamid Le'olam Va'ed, Udvachar Emet V'Kayam La'ad, Baruch Atah Adonai, Melech Al HaKoret, Mikadesh HaShabbat B'Yisrael V'Yom HaZikaron.
Mazel tov.